Conversations in Beverly Hills, and we caught up with Tisha Campbell-Martin and Duane Martin during Holly Robinson Peake's event for her foundation, Hollyrod. Can you tell us all about how autism affects your life?
You want to go
No,
first?
you go, babe.
Okay. Well, our son was diagnosed with autism when he was 18 months old. And but I kind of knew something was up with my child, which is what I would tell all of my friends. Something's up with this kid. And they would, proceed to tell me, no, you're just a, first-time mom. But I kind of knew there was something happening the minute I brought him home from the hospital. And so, he didn't have the eye contact. He didn't talk. He was, rocking. He did a lot of self-stimulatory behaviors and flapping but that was later on.
Because he just came home.
So this is the type of interview we're going to conduct right now?
I'm just saying.
No, really, because this is a serious subject, so this is what we're going to do?
It is a serious subject.
Yeah, but this is what we're going to do?
No, continue. Continue.
Duane Martin.
And so how do you get a child diagnosed?
Why don't you answer this?
You know what?
She's the leader in this.
My husband
area.
is, and I would always say, my husband is the leader of our household, but I asked him if I could lead in this particular journey. I actually had the book, What to Expect in the First Year, and I threw that book up against a wall and in the garbage because it just didn't apply to me, and it definitely didn't apply to my son because he wasn't meeting any of the goals. In our particular communities, in African American, Latino communities, our children are diagnosed 2 to 3 years after their Caucasian counterparts. And there's many reasons for that. Some of it is cultural. We got a lot of family members who are in denial, don't want to believe it, make excuses. They really look at our children as being bad, labeled bad, or being put on medication quickly. So, it has been our goal as a family and, with our nonprofit, Colored My Mind, to get our people in our communities educated.
My baby's smart.
Silly. That's all you have to add again. That's what this interview is going to be. This is all you have to.
Listening to you, I just was captivated by your brain.
Brilliance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's the conversation at home after your son is diagnosed? What conversation did you guys have?
How raw can we be? We had seen about 4 different doctors. And at this point, at the 5th doctor, I said, if this one doctor, because most of them had said there's nothing wrong with him.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's pretty bad. And I knew in my heart of hearts that they couldn't be more wrong. And by the 5th doctor, I said to myself, if she tells me that there's nothing wrong with my son, then I am going to believe her. Anyway, she sat me down. She says, okay, your husband's away. Okay, well, I think your son is on the spectrum. And at that moment, when I heard her say it, I didn't want to believe it. And so I was eating a salad, and I started stabbing my salad real hard, like this, and biting it. And I go, no, he ain't. And so she says, yeah, he is. I said, no, he ain't. Okay? And so I proceeded to curse her out really, really badly. Like, really badly. The poor woman, I wish I could find her to this day. She probably quit the business. And then I ran, and then I screamed a lot for a minute. And then I picked up the phone as I'm screaming, and I'm dialing numbers, and I said, hi, my name is Tisha Martin. My son is diagnosed with autism. I need to get an appointment. And I'm screaming, God, why are you doing this? Why is this happening to our family? I can't handle it. My son I was just in the phone book handling it, even though I'm telling God that I couldn't handle it. And I know that God gave Zen to us for a reason. May not have understood it at that moment, but nobody else could be his parents but us, because there's times where you just want the television to babysit your kids and you take a break. But I didn't have the opportunity. I didn't want to take that opportunity because every moment would have been a moment lost. Time is not on your side when it comes to autism. So for me, when I would come home from my wife and kids, it was mommy and me time. It's time for us to sit down, legs open, playing with Play-Doh, and he would be like shaking, afraid of the Play-Doh or sand or whatever it is, cotton balls. And I would just play with him, and I'd scoot it towards him. And then he might touch it, and then he'd scream. Like, it, for him, we would even take uncooked beans and hide toys in them, and I would force his hands. Now, the boy would be screaming like he was being burned by fire. But I had to do what I had to do because I had to desensitize his sensory issues with his feeling, his touch. Now that, he's good. He said to me, I asked him, you never used to let me hug you or kiss you, because he would do like this. I said, what did hugging and kissing feel like then? He says, it feels like it hurt my skin. And people often say, Tisha, you need to write a book. You need to tell people what you've done, because Zen was completely nonverbal. Zen did not talk. And to get him to where he is today, you would never believe that he even has an issue. And with my husband's help, my husband was so supportive and wonderful and lovely and kind. And he was my cushion when I was about to fall hard. He was my cushion. And I'm just so blessed to have him in my life, and in our kids' lives.
So how as a couple do you survive? Because it has to put an extra strain on the relationship.
I didn't see it as like this big burden on our relationship. I just saw it as another opponent. What do you have to do? Who, what, when, why, how long, how much? Figure it out, and then make a move.
Let me
and
give you an example about how he had my back. Like, when you have a child who's diagnosed on the spectrum, you have to get everybody in the same mindset when it comes to your child. If one person spoils your child or does something opposite of what the routine is that is set in place by any of the caregivers, any of the behavioralists, the therapists, if they do something opposite, then your child will regress back to one. Okay? So when we have family members who were spoiling my kid and feeding him stuff that he shouldn't have been eating. And so I went to my husband. I was like, we can't have that with our son. They got to listen. They have to do what the behavioralist says. They have to do what I say. And he was like, why won't we just let them spoil them? That's their family members. I said, we can't. He's going to go back to one. He didn't say nothing. He got up, got in the car, drove to our family member's house and was like, listen, if you don't listen to my wife, if you don't accept that our child is autistic, if you can't even say the word autism, you will never see my son again, and walked out the door.
What? You better do it, Duane Martin.
She's dramatic.
That is exactly what happened.
I don't know what happened. But it sounds good.
So a lot of times with this diagnosis it tears families apart. A lot of parents don't make it. We did the exact opposite. It brought us even closer. Hi, this is Tisha Campbell-Martin.
And I'm Duane Campbell. No?
And you're watching Coco Fab
TV.
So crazy.